Hello everybody and welcome back to Conor here on Leeds TV. We are done with another week. We are finished. Work is done. And now we have the task of looking forward to Leeds United playing at the weekend. Blackburn Rovers are Leeds' team that we are facing this weekend. Let's keep it simple. If you watch Joe's video, make sure you do. It's a really good sort of like analysis of previous form, etc., etc. I'm going to go more off on a whim like I normally do and just try to talk off the top of my head. But go check Joe's out. It's a really good preview of the game. Oscars will be coming out soon as well. But what do I think to this one? I think it's going to be a tough one. I really do. And I say this every single game, don't I? So I bet you lot are absolutely thoroughly bored with me saying that it's going to be a tough one week in, week out. But I don't think any game in the championship calendar is easy. And that is just the way it goes. I think Blackburn have always been a bit of a difficult one for us. Always been a bit of a difficult task. You know, they've got players on that team that can cause damage, and they seem to turn up against Leeds. You know, we look at the two fixtures last season, narrowly over two legs. We beat them really. I mean, I remember Harrison Reed, I remember Bradley Dack, Danny Graham, and Adam Armstrong being the key players in that first fixture. The second fixture was more of a Charlie Mulgrew show and a Bailey Peacock Farrell horror show. But listen. It's a game we should be winning, obviously. We're Leeds United at this moment in time where we're flying. And it is one of those games where it can be a banana skin. We all know it can be. It's one of these games, the teams that are in sort of, 11th to 18th are the teams that can sort of scup you a little bit. The Millwalls, the Blackburns, etc., etc. So we've got to be on form. We've got to be on point, and we've got to look at this game and think, you know what? Let's really take them and put them to the sword. That's what it's got to be this weekend. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see a sort of tight, narrow win. I want to see something like last week, where we get not only the striker getting goals, but we get other people getting goals. And we add to our tally. We add to our goal difference. We add to our confidence levels. We add to our esteem. And we go out and do the job. That is what I want this weekend. That is my preference for this weekend. Please, Leeds United. I don't want a heart attack throughout the game. I don't want us to be, leaving it and hanging on. That's not what I want. And consistency in performances is key with Leeds, because we've seen this season sometimes there's been the narrow wins, then there's been a draw, then there's been a loss. And we need to start scuppering this out. We need to start, the results need to start coming a little bit more consistently, a little bit more frequently, and we need to be getting the range of goal scoring, the range of goal scorers as well. That's what I want to see, because I want to see other players getting on the team, on the score sheet. Sorry, I want to see Ben White scoring a header. I want to see Bamford obviously scoring. I want to see Harrison add to his total. I want to see him add to this purple patch that he's going through at this moment in time. I want that to continue. I want that to be something that we don't just say, oh, Harrison scored. It's, oh yeah, Harrison scored again. That's what I want. I want Helder Costa to get on the score sheet. I want him to get an assist. I want to see these sort of things building up so we can go into the Christmas calendar with a little bit of vigour, a little bit of dynamism, and a little bit of pragmatism, obviously. So yeah, I mean, what more can you do on that Blackburn Rovers side? Sort of Mowbray has kept the foundation. Obviously, Bradley Dack's still there. They've done a wonderful job keeping hold of him. I mentioned it in the Talking Shut podcast. If you haven't, make sure you go check that out. But I'm surprised by Blackburn's incomings. You look at players like Sam Gallagher, then you've got Ben Brereton from last year. Spent a lot of money on these players, and they've not really featured. Or if they have featured, they've not really done a good job. So it is back to the mainstay in League One, that got Blackburn to where they are, the players that have done that, your Bradley Dacks, your Lenihans, etc. So, I actually thought when it was the summer months, when we were looking for a centre-half, before Ben White was introduced, I thought Van der Horn, I thought Lenihan, the centre-half for Blackburn Rovers, excellent at passing the ball out, a really good rhythm from the centre-back position. Obviously, they've got Elliott back there as well, Bennett. So they've still got a good foundation at the back. Obviously, they've lost out on Charlie Mulgrew. He's gone to Wigan. We've already come up against Mulgrew this season. But, I didn't really think he had that much of an impact in that first game. I think the second game was just, as I've said at the start, it was the Bailey Peacock Farrell show. I think it's both efforts, obviously the penalty, then the free kick, both avoidable. But yeah, so the defence, it's always going to be structured under Mowbray. That's what he wants. I think the key thing for Blackburn is the home form. You saw that with Wednesday when they played Wednesday last week. I think the home form, keeping that up is going to be a massive thing for Blackburn to keep them in the division this year. And I think that they've got a good home form, and I think that is what they're going to be sort of trying to iron out for this season. think their away form, if they can pick up points here and there, that's excellent. But I think the home form's going to be pivotal. And I think that is why Leeds United this weekend are going to pick up all 3 points, because they're not great on the road, Blackburn. But listen, they've got players. You know, you look at Lewis Holtby, ex-German international, ex-Tottenham Hotspur star of the Harry Redknapp side with, with Gareth Bale and Luka Modric. So they're no pushovers. You know, Holtby's obviously got an assist and a goal. And, Bradley Dack continues his form into this season as well. He's got numerous assists, got a couple of goals as well. Dack's always a consistent performer. He's always the provider as well. So Calvin Phillips in that CDM role, it's got to be absolutely on point, because Dack is, if not one of, if not the best CAM for me in the division. He's an excellent player, floats between the lines excellently well. We'll get it in his defensive third, play out from the back. He can get it off his back foot, which is what we were talking about with Tyler Roberts at the weekend, getting the ball on his back foot, running at the defenders. That is what Bradley Dack's game is based on. So what do we need to do? We need to counteract that. We didn't do that in the first game at Ewood Park. We did it to an extent at Ellen Road. He had a little bit more of a quiet game, but we need to do it a little bit more. We need to show why we've conceded 8 goals in 15 games and have the most defensively resolute side in the country. That's what we need to show. That's what I'd like to see this weekend. I'd like to see Leeds. I mean, I want to see, I don't want to see Leeds concede any weekend, but this is a proud statistic that Leeds up. The best defensive record. I mean, it's insane, and we've not seen that with Leeds. I mean, the last time we saw any ember of a defensive record was under Gary Monk with Cal Bartley, Charlie Taylor, Pontus Jansson and Luke Ayling. And that moves me on to the side very, very nicely. What are we looking to see this weekend from Marcelo Bielsa's side? What is the selection woes? What are the selection gains for Leeds United? Well, Eddie Nketiah is on the sideline once again. Unfortunately, the abdominal injury, which I believe, from what I've heard, is going to be it's going to be a fair few weeks. So I think as a set of supporters, we're going to have to get used to that. I think Nketiah is going to be sidelined for potentially, sort of 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, I mean, that's a massive blow, because obviously we thought he was going to be coming in for Bamford. The goals, unfortunately, for Patrick have cleared up. The performances are still there, but what you judged on as a striker, unfortunately, you judged on your goals. What do we need as a team? We need goals. And if it's not being provided by anyone else in the side, which, it's been quite infrequent of late, it needs to be from the centre forward. Jack Harrison, he's going through a real good vein of form. And as I've said on multiple videos, I still think his efficiency needs to improve. I think a lot of our possession is down that left-hand side. And, I think Harrison's doing a wonderful job at this moment in time. He's definitely improved. But what I want to see is Harrison doing that, continuously throughout the season. He had a purple patch last year as well, and then he teetered off a little bit. If he can keep that up, wonderful, and the pressure won't be as much on Patrick Bamford. The selection issue is, I guess it's the left-hand side, which is a weird one, because we've got so many options down there. Alioski, unfortunately, out via injury. Douglas is available, which excites me massively. Big fan of Barry Douglas. I don't think he's been given his fair shot in this Leeds United team. And when he has been given his fair shot, unfortunately, within those 2 or 3 games, he's got an injury, and then he's been out, and then Alioski's got back in. Then Douglas won't get back in for the foreseeable future. So it's been a pattern for Douglas ever since he started at Leeds United. And as I've said, with Helder Costa, Barry Douglas, for me, hasn't started fitting properly into this Bielsa system, and we've got to give him time, because I can't imagine the amount of games that Barry Douglas has played is that substantial, to be quite frank. He had the patch at the start of the season when he was playing week in, week out, had the big injury, and since then it's been in and out for Barry Douglas. So I think he needs a run of games. Gets a run of games, I think he's going to be a high-flying left-back in this Leeds United side, and I think he's going to be linking up really well with Jack Harrison. He's going to give us quality. He's going to give us quality delivery, and you cannot base a Barry Douglas player on him coming on in the 65th minute and potentially losing us a game, because you bring any left-back on at that moment within a crucial game, it's going to be hard for him to adapt. And you give Barry Douglas a run of games, he's going to be good in this Leeds United and this Bielsa system. I don't think you can bring him on coming back from injury, as we have done multiple times, in the 65th minute and expect him to do X, Y and Z. I think you've got to start him, and you've got to give him a run of games. This is a guy who got 16 assists in 16-17 season, and was a wonderful left back. So we've got to give him that game time. We don't give him the game time, he's not going to get to those levels. And I think sometimes that clouds our opinions. If someone comes on and they don't do a good job, now they're out. It's like, no, I mean, look how many players we've given chances in the past. Kim Al-Roof, Chris Wood. You know, you even look at the recent squad. You look at Jack Harrison, for example, Patrick Bamford, and I'm earmarked those two because it took them a while to get into the stride. Some may argue it's still taking them a while to get into the stride, but you can't just cancel off players, you know, like Barry Douglas because he's not performing when he's coming on in the 65th, 70th minute. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so a bit of continuity with Barry Douglas would be great. Yeah, unfortunately today I saw on Twitter that it looks like maybe Luke Ayling is poorly. He might be ill for this game, so it looks like Dallas, I guess, will be going to right back. Yeah, the two normal centre halves, and obviously maybe Douglas at left back. You know, maybe that is going to be a thing. I'd like to see Leif Davis there, but after reflecting on it, who would I rather have there? I probably would rather have, you know, Barry Douglas, because I think he is a quality left back when he's been given time. I think he's a brilliant left back. I think Leif Davis is an excellent number 2, and if we had a 1-2-3, Alioski would be the number 3 left back for me. But yeah. The Pablo and Helder Costa debate, if you want to have that debate, I'm sticking with Helder Costa. As I said on Talking Shut, this guy could be the best player in the league. I know we've got another best player in the league coming back, but I think we have also got to look to the future and the replacement of Pablo Hernandez. I really do, and I think you've got to look as in-depth as that, and I think, you know, that is what Helder Costa has been brought in for. That's definitely the mantra. He plays on that side. You know, he's an explosive player. We've spent a lot of money on him. I think he's definitely the long-term replacement for Pablo Hernandez. I think the club have got that in mind. And what's the point in keeping him on the bench? You know, if you can fit them both in the side, excellent. Obviously, I don't think you can at this moment in time with Tyler Roberts. But what a headache to have for Marcelo Bielsa. And you don't change a winning team. It is the mantra of football. You do not change a winning team. Does that go with Marcelo Bielsa? I'm not 100% sure, because Bielsa just does what he wants. But yeah, no, there's no chance I'd be taking Helder Costa out. I thought he had a brilliant game against QPR. A lot of you'll turn around and say, you know, I don't think he did much. But as I've said on the Talking Shut podcast, Helder Costa's 5 and 6 out of 10 is down here. But it is equal to Jack Harrison's 8 or 9, or Patrick Bamford's 8 or 9. You know, that's the type of player you get in. Helder Costa, 9, 10 out of 10. He's getting 2-3 goals every week, and that's the depth of his quality. That's the level he can get to. So for me, if we can get to that level of quality, if we can start playing the balls over the top, which we did a lot more of last weekend, we're going to see a brilliant Helder Costa. Wolves didn't keep faith with him in the Premier League season. They did not keep faith with him because, you know, obviously they brought in players from the continent who would be deemed a lot better. But the best Helder Costa was when he was given time and given faith by Nuno in his 16-17, and that's when you got the best of him. You know, he didn't start well, but he got into it, and I think, well, that is what we've got to do with him. You can't just take him out now for me. You take him out and it's a little bit of a failure, because then when he comes back in, if he does come back in, it's going to take him a while to get into his rhythm. You've got a £15 million player there. Give him time. It doesn't make any sense taking him out. So that's what I would do. You know, Tyler Roberts definitely in that number 10. I don't think we're going to get... You know, I just think he's a brilliant footballer, and, you know, I don't think even Pablo's performances at the start of the season, I don't think they were great. And, you know, I think every time Tyler Roberts puts this white shirt on, this white shirt on, maybe it's not been consistent, but I think he's just so explosive, and his running at the centre-backs causes all sorts of problems, and I think that is exactly what we need at this moment in time. So I would keep him in. And as I said, you don't change a winning team. Patrick Bamford... Yeah, I mean, we've got no other option, really. You guys know my thoughts on it. I want goals. I want Leeds United to get promoted. I would be starting Eddie, 100%. Do I want Bamford to score? Of course I do. Of course I want Bamford to get off the mark, and hopefully this is going to be the weekend where he breaks his duct. But who knows? Who knows with Bamford at this moment in time? It seems nothing's going right for him. So hopefully you get other players within the team able to help him out with that goal scoring. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We will have your sort of reviews of the game after the game. And yeah, make sure you wait out for that. I'm going to go with as I said on the Talking Shut podcast, I'm going to go with a 2-0 Leeds win. I think we're going to preserve that defensive record, and it's going to be a good performance from Leeds United. I'm going to go with goals from Tyler Roberts, and I'm going to go Patrick Bamford. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you later.